What's up guys, Quezzy back with a brand new video, and today we're back on Fortnite. We're doing something we've done before, but Fortnite has updated the game just so much since I made this last video. So I made a video a while back talking about the building mechanics in Fortnite and some different tips and tricks that I had to improve at Fortnite, your building, everything in general. So I'm going to do that again in this video because Fortnite has just made an update a couple days ago or about a week ago where they have totally revamped all the sensitivity mechanics and building mechanics and everything in Fortnite. So I thought I'd wait till that update drops, and it has, and so I'm going to make a video now covering all of that stuff and going through how to make you guys better Fortnite players on console. So the first thing you guys gotta understand is they've reworked the sensitivities completely in Fortnite. They've now split off the building sensitivity from your aiming sensitivity. So your X and Y sensitivity, the first two at the top here, are your aiming sensitivity. So when you're aiming down sights and you're trying to target on a player, let's say this tree is a player, I'm trying to keep my reticle on that player. This is gonna dictate how fast you move it side to side and up and down. So what I do is I kept mine on 0.75, and what you guys should be doing is going into a playground and actually testing, starting at a low sensitivity and aiming at something and trying to target on them, keeping your reticle on them as long as possible, or on whatever object you're looking at. Maybe it's a mushroom over here, for example. Try and keep your reticle as close to it as possible, and what your objective is to try and keep it as close to it as possible. And the more you up your sensitivity, what it'll do is it'll make it obviously more difficult to keep your reticle on whatever you're aiming at. So what you want to do is you want to try and find a balance of too fast and just right. So what you want to do is you want to be quick, obviously, but you want to be able to be comfortable and keep that reticle on whatever you're aiming at, because bloom is a pretty terrifying thing, and if you have to rely on bloom for shots, especially if you're spraying all over the place, it's just not going to end well for you in a build fight. So what I recommend, going into a playground, lowering your sensitivity as much as possible, and just going up and up and up until you feel uncomfortable, and then leave it right there, and that's the perfect sensitivity for you. Do the same thing with Y sensitivity. I normally keep mine lower just because I think it's more important to be able to look side to side than up and down, and so my sensitivity doesn't flick up by accident. I keep it a little lower. The next thing is the targeting sensitivity and scope sensitivity. I keep both of mine at 0.55. Now to me, these aren't as important, but they still should be changed and worked to your specific playstyle. So for me, what ADS sensitivity is it means when you're aimed down sights with your gun, it's how fast it's going to move all your ADS compared to when you're not ADS and you're just running around, you know, doing whatever. So what you want to do is you, again, want to make the sensitivity as comfortable as possible for you so you can keep your reticle on that player. Like I said before, it's the same thing. And then your scope sensitivity is for snipers and other scope weapons. And honestly, I don't pick up snipers super duper often, so it's not that big of a deal for me. I just keep it the same because I want to be comfortable. If I'm trying to shoot or snipe a guy in a distance, I don't want to have my sensitivity super high. I know a lot of people play on a high sensitivity with a sniper so they can, you know, flick shot or quick scope or whatever, but I mean, I don't really have a need to do that, so I just keep it slow, comfortable, so I know I'm going to hit the snipes when I need to. The next thing in the sensitivity category, and probably the most important, is the building sensitivity, and this is the one you want to take the most time on and make sure you're the most comfortable with. Now, what this is this is probably one of the newest things they've added into Fortnite. It's where your ADS or not your ADS sensitivity, your regular sensitivity and your building sensitivity have been branched off, so you can do one without doing the other, and one can be much faster than the other, and a lot of people are choosing to put their building sensitivity much faster than their aiming sensitivity. And for me, I have my building sensitivity at 1.32, and to be honest, that's actually not that fast. It's obviously faster than it could be before, but what this does is it makes it so I'm at a balance of comfort with my builds and speed. So I can build relatively quickly, but I still know I'm not going to be just wasting materials, spraying mats, you know, just totally wasting everything I have in my builds. I don't want to do that. So what I do is I keep it, I don't want to say low because it is still a pretty fast sensitivity, but I keep it at a point where it's comfortable for me and I know my builds are gonna be like where I want them. If I always want to be consistent with my builds, and this is just what a lower building sensitivity does. So that's just where I keep it. Again, go into a playground and just work this, because what you want to do is you want to go until you feel almost uncomfortable with your builds. You want to be able to be fast, but you also want to be able to quick. Those are like the two most important things when it comes to building in Fortnite. And so you want to have all of those as worked as possible. And so that's what you want to do. You want to go into a playground and you want to just keep working on it until you feel comfortable, but it also feels fast enough that you're not going to lose a build fight that you should have because you were too slow. Now we're going to get into some of the settings and different little things that can help your building be quicker. Now, this is one of the most important things, and it only applies to some people, but what you want to do is you want to turn this controller edit hold time as low as it can go. And what this does is it makes it so when you are editing something, for example, let's say you still edit with O. I know there's custom controller keybinds now, and I know a lot of people change their editing to make it faster. So this is for the people who still edit by clicking O. What this does is it makes it so when you hold down the circle button, or O on console, or whatever it is on Xbox, I don't really know, I call it O. Anyways, when you hold that down, there's a split second where you can't edit super fast. If you look, there's that small little ring that goes around the circle, and that is what makes your building a little bit slower. So what people have done and what I've done is if I go to my controller keybinds or my controller binds, you can see I've switched edit to left on my D-pad, and what this does is it makes it so when I click edit, there's none of that hold delay. I know they added the setting, but what this does is it makes it so there's absolutely zero hold delay. I can just edit as quickly as I possibly can. I don't have to wait until I can actually edit. I can just edit right away by clicking the button, and I think this is a super important thing to change. It doesn't have to be left on the D-pad for you guys. You guys can bind it to almost anything. Just make sure it's not that edit. It's literally just the edit button. It's not the edit, where is it? Switch mode and edit. It's just the regular edit, and that will make it not a holding motion, but more of just a clicking motion. And I think that's one of the most important things you can do in Fortnite, because Fortnite is considered a building game, but I would consider it almost as much as an editing game as it is a building game. So once you've figured out what button you want to use for editing, what you want to do is you want to change this other setting. If you're not playing on Builder Pro already, I can't stress this enough, switch to Builder Pro if you're not, just because it's so important. And you may think you're fast on Combat Pro or Standard, but honestly, you're going to get outbuilt by people on Builder Pro, and that's just a fact. That's not me being a dick. That's literally just a fact that Builder Pro is proven to be faster. So that's what you want to do. You want to stick to Builder Pro. If you are on Combat Pro, it's probably going to feel weird switching for the first few weeks, but after that, you should be okay, and you'll actually see a really good increase in your build speed. So what you want to do after you've switched to Builder Pro and you're comfortable with it and everything, which I'm assuming most people are, is you want to change this setting down here at the very bottom of control options to Builder Pro build immediately. And what this does is it makes it, instead of you having to either like switch to whatever piece you want to build, you literally just hold it for a split second and you can build that piece. So if I want to build a floor, I just hold floor and it builds the floor. I don't have to wait that extra split second. It just makes things so much easier. And if you guys don't have this setting on already, I would recommend changing it, just because it helps so much. And after a while, it might feel weird at the beginning. It did feel weird at the beginning for me, but I mean, after a while, it's so comfortable, and it's just a lot better of an overall building idea. Like you shouldn't have to wait for your piece to pull out really quickly. And if they're trying to make this game as close to PC as possible on every console, I'm not sure why I'm lagging right now, as close to PC on console, that's the best idea they can possibly do, is make it so there's literally no delay between when you place the piece and when you pull it out. Anyways, those were some of my main tips on how to improve your building in Fortnite. I know there's probably a couple more things that I didn't cover, but this is what really has worked for me over the past little while, and I hope you guys can make the changes that you think will benefit you and really apply them to your game. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and this has been Quasi, guys. I'll see you in the next one.